I can feel the power, I can feel the power. Feel the power. Yeah, money that is time and hour. Time and hours. Yeah, well, I better activate the power. I'ma activate it, gotta make it, gotta chase it. I don't care what they be saying, I'ma do it now. And I've been really slaving, I ain't giving up and I ain't giving in. Do it now for the dividends.
What is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope all of you are having an amazing day, week, month, whatever that may be for you. But I'm hoping that everybody's reaching for their fullest potential. Today I want to talk a little bit about confidence, because confidence is super important for anything that we're trying to achieve in this life, right? This is the only life that we know, so it's super important. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my confidence and how I've been able to build my own confidence over time. And hopefully, it helps those of you that are watching. So get ready. Let's get it. Alright guys, so what is confidence? So confidence to me is just really having the skills and the ability to be able to execute at a very high level. And when you don't have the skills, then you don't execute. Therefore, you're not confident in whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? It could be finances, it can be relationships, it can be just social interactions and things like that. When you're not confident, you don't have the skills to be able to execute at a very high level, then you lack the confidence to be able to push through. So at a very minimum level, that's just what confidence is. It's just really having the skills and the ability to be able to push through to do the things that you need to do. So if you're very skillful at something, you're gonna feel very confident in being able to just execute, right? So if you don't like, for instance, if you don't like speaking in large crowds, maybe because you feel like you don't know how to speak, or maybe in front of a camera like this, unless you put yourself and build the skills, like put yourself in front of a camera, put yourself in front of a crowd, and over time develop that skill, you're never going to be confident being in camera. You're never going to be confident being in front of a crowd. You're never going to be confident in whatever it is that you're trying to get confident on, unless you put yourself on that. So confidence is something that builds over time. But one of the most important things that you have to do is that you have to recognize those areas that you feel you lack confidence on, because that's one of the things that prevents us from being able to be successful at certain things, is that we're not aware enough to understand what our opportunities are in terms of maybe I'm not confident in this area, so how do I develop confidence in this area? And unless you are super aware and you're take 2 steps back and you're okay, let me figure out what are some of those areas that I know I lack confidence, and what are some of the skills that I can work on to get better so that I can be confident in those areas. So confidence is huge when it comes to anything that you're trying to do in life, be it finances, like I mentioned at the beginning, be it relationship, be it social interactions, the ability to influence and impact at a very high level. You got to be able to have the confidence to be able to push through, because you're going to have so many different things that are going to be thrown your way, and you got to be able to have the skills and the ability to be able to just continue to push through.
Well, I better activate the power. I'ma activate it, gotta make it, gotta chase it. I don't care what they be saying, I'ma do it now. And I've been really slaving, I ain't giving up and I ain't giving in. Do it now for the dividends, I'll be on the path, I just gotta get it, cause I got my mind on some bigger things. So man, I ain't gonna give in now, I just gotta live this now. I be gonna be, man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in the ring when I'm knocking it out, when I'm back with the win. Cause I am just up on the journey.
So, how have I been able to develop confidence over time? I think for me, it's been a couple of experiences that I've gone through over the span of my life so far. And I think it all started back in elementary school. When I was in 5th grade, I got promoted to 6th grade, 2 to 3 months into the year. And I think unknowingly that started the process of building confidence in me, because I felt so enthused with that promotion that I got. I guess my teacher just called my parents and told them hey, he's doing phenomenally well. There's no need for him to stay here in 5th grade, and we can move them on, one grade. So they pushed me on to sixth grade. So I think unconsciously that built confidence in knowing that I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Also, I think another experience that really helped me to build confidence over time was, and this is something I spoke about in a previous video, was when I got cut from my basketball team. I got cut when I was in high school, and I got cut when I was in St. John's, the first time that I tried in the university. And I don't know how to explain it. It just built it, the fact that I got cut just built this momentum and this desire inside of me to want to continue to push, because I knew I had the skills and I knew I had the ability to be able to play the sport. But something like that could kill your confidence. But for me, it did the opposite. It really built this fire inside of me that I wanted to prove not necessarily anybody wrong, but prove myself right. So that's another experience that really, really pushed me to build confidence. So another experience that really, really helped me to develop some confidence was when back in the days when I used to listen to a lot of music in the radios, I used to think man, how do they put together all these songs? How do they, I wonder how all this comes together. And back in 2006, when YouTube was kind of first started, I started looking and somehow some videos came in the algorithm or whatever it was back then, and then I started looking at music production, and I got a lot of videos, started looking to a lot of videos about music production, and it kind of just opened up my eyes and my mind to man, this is how it's done. You don't need this $200,000 piece of equipment to build, create, produce an amazing sounding track. That, by watching that video alone, just gave me the confidence to say, you know what, if I get this piano, if I get this audio workstation, get a good computer, I too can produce or create a track. And that's kind of what catapulted me to start building tracks that eventually led to me creating my album, and then eventually led to me linking up with a friend of mine, and then eventually we created the video, at least one video for one of the tracks. So confidence is something that, again, it builds over time, but you have to work at whatever it is that you're trying to do, right? So when it was about basketball back in the day, I was trying to, I knew I had the desire, I knew I had the goal, but over time I kept working. I kept working on my discipline. I kept working at getting better, getting the skills that I needed, working on my jumper, working on my speed, working on my flexibility, working on all of those things, which gave me the confidence to know that I was capable of playing in a D1 at university. And eventually I did. I tried out for the team, and I made the team, and I was able to play with some great players, and I have a whole history of playing basketball overseas and things like that. That's in another video. But same thing with music. I didn't know anything about music, but I was intrigued by how music was created, and I started looking for ways to understand, so that I can become more confident in my ability to be able to create a track. So I started looking a lot. I started looking for YouTube videos, and I started looking at reading books, and I started looking for how to learn how to play the piano, and so on and so forth. And by doing those things, I became confident in my ability to be able to, from start to finish, build a track that I can release out into the world. And eventually, like I said, I created, I think it was 16 tracks. Only 13 made the final cut in the album, but I was able to create my album. And then eventually, because of that, I was kind of like a stepping stone to connecting and creating the video with one of my friends. And I'll link that down there somewhere so you guys can see it as well if you haven't seen it. Which actually I'll talk about that in another video. But the last thing is, recently creating these YouTube videos, being on camera. This is something that's not easy to do, but you build confidence by putting yourself in the sauce, right? Putting yourself out there and doing it. And every single time that you do it, you become a lot more comfortable with it. And in doing so, you become skilled, in doing it, and that builds the confidence that you need so that you're able to, when the cameras come on, you're on, baby. You know what I mean? So confidence is something that it takes time to build, but you have to be able to have the awareness to step back and be like, okay, what's my goal? What is it that I'm trying to do? What is it that I'm lacking? Where is it that I'm not confident in? And then looking for the skills that you need to be able to build that confidence.
I'ma activate it, gotta make it, gotta chase it. I don't care what they be saying, I'ma do it now. And I've been really slaving, I ain't giving up and I ain't giving in. Do it now for the dividends.
Alright, so if I had to sum it up for you guys in terms of confidence and how I've been able to build confidence, I can sum it up in four things. Four things. All right. Number one is put yourself out there. Right. You have to put yourself out there. You have to, in whatever area it is that you're trying to build confidence. Right. You have to read books. Right. Watch YouTube videos, like something like this. Watch YouTube videos. Attend a seminar if you have to. Right. The more you put yourself out there, and the more you educate yourself about what it is that you're trying to do, the more confident you're going to build. And the more confident you're going to build, the more skillful you are going to be in that area. Number two, you have to stay disciplined, right? Because you're going to put yourself out there and you're going to put yourself in situations where you're not going to be comfortable. You're going to be super uncomfortable, but you have to be disciplined, right? You have to remember why you're doing it. You have to keep that goal in mind of what it is that you're trying to do. And you have to stay disciplined to do the things that you have to do, even though it is uncomfortable. Number three, along the way, right, you have to make sure that you're making adjustments. Because if you're not making adjustments, then you're just running in circles, right? So you stay disciplined, but then at the same time, you're making adjustments. So if your last video, in this case for me, right, if your last video you did X, Y, and Z, make sure that you're getting a little bit better on the next video. And on the next video, you're getting a little bit better. If you're trying to read faster, right, if you read this book and you read it in X amount of time, maybe the next book, you're trying to read it a little bit faster, right? So it doesn't matter whatever area it is that you're trying to build confidence in, you have to make sure that you're making adjustments along the way. And then lastly, it's just repeat, right? Keep getting the knowledge, keep reading the books, keep watching the videos, stay in the sauce of what it is that you're trying to build the confidence in. And then it's just kind of like a cycle. It repeats, right? So you stay in the sauce, you stay disciplined about what it is that you're trying to do, and then along the way you make adjustments. And then you get to the point where you just repeat again, right? So those are four tips that I can give you in regards to building confidence. I've used them myself. They work pretty well. And that's pretty much it, man. So if y'all made it to the end of the video, I really, really appreciate you guys. Please make sure you give a thumbs up, right? Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. If you're liking the content, man, make sure you subscribe. I mean, if you're here at this time, you might as well, right? You made it to the end, might as well give it a thumbs up, like the video, and I will see you guys on the next one. Let's get it.
Hello, I'm here. So, how you gonna do today, Daddy? So good. So I'm gonna do some good news, like big news. Now the Godzilla's been recorded in the regenerative area in the body. Please record to the atomic body. Please record to the atomic breath. Be careful to the atomic breath.
Okay, say bye.
Bye.